right, this is Guns Up Nation managing editor Jacob Harris here with a guy who has an awesome name, Jacob Meeks, the newest Texas Tech Red Raider kicker transfer from Louisiana Monroe. Jacob, you doing all right?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, and I'm super excited to be part of this program.
Yeah, we're super excited to kind of see what you can do out there on the field. This news kind of sprung up on us last night. We were really excited to see that Texas Tech added another kicker. So, can you describe your experience for me in the transfer portal? We're kind of talking pre-recording about everything you've been through over the last year.
Yeah, so the transfer portal experience was definitely interesting. So right off the bat, colleges were interested, trying to see, where my head's at, what my plan was. Um, and it just didn't feel right. Like as the months progressed and, COVID, the lockdown got worse, it just didn't seem like a smart move to me. So I enrolled into UTA, told college coaches, pretty much, hey, let's let things, get back to normal before we start, trying to do anything crazy. And so that was that for a while. And it was very quiet for me, very quiet up until about three months ago. I started training with one-on-one kicking. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, they have a division out in West Texas now too. And it was just night and day. I started training with them, and it was, it sprung back into life. It really did. And the transfer portal treated me nice, and I'm just very blessed to be in the position I am right now.
Awesome. So, what about Texas Tech stood out to you?
Well, first of all, it's one of my dream schools. I mean, being, literally 4 hours away from my home, it's super exciting. And what stood out to me is when I went to the campus and they showed me around. It was just unlike anything I'd ever seen. Because if you know anything about Monroe, Louisiana, the campus and the football life itself is nothing. It's incomparable. So what stood out to me really was just how respectful and genuine the coaching staff was, how they kind of just, showed me what the program was all about. And they were just being super upfront and honest. And I just felt immediately like, hey, this is it. Like, this is the opportunity that you've been praying on and waiting for. So let's pull the trigger on it. Let's go. It was super exciting. I knew right away. I really did.
Awesome. So when did you get a sort of offer from Texas Tech?
4 days ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I went out there. I got to meet Coach Tarmadall, got to meet Coach Wells. Coach Tarmadall said, hey, I'm going to have a meeting. We're going to talk about you and we'll let you know. And sure enough, the next day he called me in the morning and said, hey, how would you like to be part of this program? And I said, Coach, it's a dream come true. It's time to work. I'm ready to get back on the field. I miss it so much.
Awesome. Like I said, we're really excited to have you on board. Who are you in contact with most from Texas Tech?
Coach Tarmadall. He's been with me every step of the way, and super nice guy. I don't know if you had the chance to meet him, but he's just a stand-up guy for sure.
I haven't gotten to meet him. I've gotten to meet a couple of other coaches, but not Tarmadall. So I don't know if we really covered this. When did you start hearing from Texas Tech?
Well, so I started training with one-on-one, and Coach Egan, Coach Holmes, they're both members of one-on-one, and so the way it kind of worked out is they were in contact with Tarmadall, or Coach Tarmadall, and they said, Coach Tarmadall said, hey, I need a guy who's, specializes in kickoffs, is what he was, really, really emphasizing. And Egan and Hunter, I was the first on their list. They were like, this is your guy. And so from then on, I got, they reached out to me, told me they wanted to come see me in person, and that's how it got rolling.
Awesome. So I guess you would say he really pitched to you that you were going to be kind of the kickoff guy. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's the emphasis. They want me for kickoffs, absolutely. Okay. And I'm going to push for field goals, but I am, they want me to be the kickoff guy in the fall.
Excellent. Yeah, I know Texas Tech has already had some kicking depth, so I was really curious to see what they kind of pitched to you to make that kind of convinced you to come here, and that's awesome that you're going to kind of be this kickoff specialist. I don't think Texas Tech actually had one of those in a while, so that would be awesome to see. So moving on to your individual skills, what is your best attribute as a kicker?
Like I said before, absolutely kickoffs. That has been a strong suit for me ever since I can remember. And especially here in the last year with all the training and coaching I've gotten, it's gotten to a point where it is a consistent, great ball. And it impressed them to the point where they wanted me, to be there as their kickoff guy. Obviously, I want to kick field goals. I want to score points, but that is not a guarantee. Well, not to say the kickoff's a guarantee, but this, field goal is something that I'm going to push for, because you're right. There's depth on the chart. There's two guys there that are vetted in the system, and they're both on scholarship. So it's up to me to push on field goal. My job, however, and the reason I'm there is to be a kickoff specialist.
Awesome. And what would you say you've been working on the most kind of over the summer, the last couple months, to get better at?
Field goal wise has been, and very important to me because, again, want to be that guy, want to be the point scorer at the end of the day. And the biggest thing for me training wise has been cleaning up form, making it look prettier. And, in essence of cleaning up form, it has a presence in the ball flight, just making sure every kick looks the same. There's no, because that's the part about being a kicker is you have to be consistent. You consistently make them. You have to have a consistently good ball height, distance, op time. It all has to be there every time. And so that's been something that I have been training almost every day to get better with.
Awesome. Who would you say your biggest mentor has been kind of through your life, and especially over this last year with you being in the transfer portal?
One-on-one kicking, 100%. These guys have taken me in under their wing and absolutely been the best of help. Coach Egan is the DFW coach, and so he is the closest to me. And so I'd say he was the number one guy. I've been sitting there, training with him out in Frisco. And for number two, I'd say Coach Holmes out in Lubbock. He's also been there for me. He's the guy who set me up with Coach Tomerdahl. He made the connection. So he's also a huge part of this.
Awesome. So when do you get on campus? Will you be there in a couple of weeks? Or are you going to be there in August?
Well, Coach actually wanted me to be there this Friday. Obviously, that was a bit of a rush. Yeah. So yeah. I said, that might not be the easiest transition. What else could we do? And he said, what about the 28th? Because sometime next week, they're going to send the players home for a quick break,
Okay.
And I said, that sounds perfect. So 28th.
Actually, the 28th is when I'm moving as well. I'm moving from Lubbock to San Angelo. So very exciting. Yeah. It's taking a new coaching job down there.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you. Very excited. So let's do a couple fun questions before we kind of wrap up here. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is spaghetti and meatballs. So good.
I dig it. You got to try Orlando's when you get to Lubbock. All right.
I did. And it was so good. It was so good.
Awesome.
We had that cheesy garlic bread with the marinara sauce as an appetizer. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Awesome. See, I'm glad you already been to some of these places, man. All right. It's awesome. So who's your favorite superhero and why?
My favorite superhero and why? Man, that's a tough one. Off the top of my head, I'm going to go ahead and say Spider-Man. Because, ever since a kid, he was like the first superhero where I was like, wow, I want to get the toys and the action figures, and it's super cool. He's shooting webs out of his fingers, and it's he's all over New York City flying through the skyscrapers. And he was just, I remember watching Families with my parents, and it was just that's my favorite superhero for sure.
Awesome. If you were deserted on a desert island, what are 3 things you would bring with you?
3 things I'd bring with me on a desert island. That is an interesting question. Something to keep me busy. So I'd say I'm not going to be lame and say a book. That's pretty lame. I'm going to go ahead and say a football to keep me busy. Wow, this is a question that caught me off guard. Let's see. Desert island. I'm going to bring an axe to keep me alive and chop wood. I'm going to have a football to keep me busy, keep my form straight, and I'm gonna have, you know what, we're gonna call it the Bible, just so I can sit there and read through it.
Excellent. All three excellent. That's always one I always catch people off guard with. It's real funny to see.
You got me there. I
To
was like,
see
man.
everyone's answers. Yours are kind of like very like mental. Like, you know what? Had to have something to make fire with. Football, that's what I like doing. And I got, you know, I gotta have the Bible. Other people are like, oh, let's bring PS5, cell phone.
Well, that's
Like,
easy,
right,
but there's no electricity.
There's no electricity there, but all right. Awesome, man. Awesome. Who would you say is your favorite NFL player?
My favorite NFL player. I would have to say Johnny Hecker. And here's why. Because obviously he's a punter, but man, this guy has perfected the skill set that he needs to perfect. If you've ever seen the videos that he's had on YouTube, I mean, this guy has perfected it to a T. Every style of punt, he's even introduced new styles of punt that you actually see NFL players and NFL teams trying out as well. And he has just that personality, that spunk about him. I love watching him on the field. And he's a one-on-one guy too. So
excellent. Well, that is all I had. Thank you, Jacob, very much for your time today. We can't wait to see you on the field. Hopefully you'll be involved in the first kickoff of the season for the Red Raiders. This is Jacob Harris for Jacob Meeks here at Guns Up Nation. Guns up, people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.